Can you guys
Here we
can you
go.
guys hear my desk fan?
Barely, but it's not like a big distraction.
No, it's fine. You can leave it
Okay,
on.
good.
Hello, everyone. I am Zazubaar, and welcome to this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. This slightly rushed episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. Joining me as always, I have Dylan McCandless, aka Super DM64,
Hi, people.
and Andres Perez, aka Kaiji Noir.
Yo, people of the internets.
All right, so kids, we're just
Yahoo.
gonna dive right into the fucking news because we have a limited time tonight, and everything on the news is stuff that we want to discuss. So we're just gonna dive right in, just do a news week, and as soon as we get through the news, we're gonna end tonight.
Yeah,
So
it's everybody's
Andres,
favorite segment.
yeah, it's the new, it's the shit you may or may not care about with Andres Perez, aka Kaiji Noir. And this week, I think you'll fucking care. So Andres, what are the kids caring about this week?
Okay, well, the thing that's gotten everyone's jimmies rustled is the first look of Scarlett Johansson in the live-action Ghost in the Shell live-action adaptation film, where we just see this one screenshot of Scarlett Johansson as the titular character. I forgot, like Motoko Kusanagi. I most likely fuck that name up, and everyone is.
It sounds right to me. Yeah.
Everyone is upset about it. Well, people were upset from the very beginning because it's a white actress portraying a popular Asian character, and this, like, a lot of people are discussing, like, oh, why is she doing this? It's all a bunch of Hollywood whitewashing. This is the chance that, like, for an Asian actress to be prominent in the lead role, but of course Hollywood's never going to let that happen. And just sparked a lot of debate and discussion over not gender, but like ethnicity and gender roles in mainstream Hollywood films.
Hashtag Ghost in the Shell so white.
Yes.
Indeed, indeed. So, number one, I don't care because I don't care about Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
I really.
But then number two, I do kind of care because this is kind of bullshit. Like, what are they doing?
I give.
Like, who are they trying to fucking pull the wool over? Whose fucking eyes are they
like
trying to pull wool over?
Like, the
really
only people
do.
who really know about Ghost in the Shell are hardcore anime fans, unless they're trying to market this movie towards a mainstream audience, like that Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow.
But at least that was an international I don't know what the plot of Ghost in the Shell is, but I'm assuming that if people are getting upset, it's reliant upon its Japanese location and setting. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's kind of like an Asian Blade Runner, where you have this, like, badass detective, black ops detective,
I wasn't interested
police
in the movie
person.
before, but then you said Asian Blade Runner, and now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you piqued Dylan's
a person is
interest.
after the main character, Motoko Kusanagi. She's a cyborg. Her entire body is robotic except for her brain, and she is after this rogue AI robot.
I see. Okay.
And there's a lot of debate in the original Ghost in the Shell movie over what makes a person truly human or completely artificial. Like, where do you draw the line between human and machine?
Right, I got you. So it's a very Blade Runner
Asian Blade.
kind of.
Yes.
It's like Bicentennial Man, but in Japan. I got you. It's Bicentennial Japan. I understand. No.
Yes.
Blade-
Motoko Kusanagi is Robin Williams.
I told that makes a lot of sense to me. I might be able to watch this movie just bearing that in mind. So people are upset. Are you upset, Andres? As somebody, are you familiar? You've seen Ghost in the Shell, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen the Ghost in the Shell TV show, but I've seen the original movie that started it all. The TV show itself is just another adaptation, or like an adaptation of that movie. So this one,
is it based on a manga originally?
I'm not really sure.
I think it's an anime original thing.
Yeah, it's just a film. Yeah.
Okay.
So I am a bit disappointed by this, only because it's like I do understand where people are coming from. Where I'm sure there are many people who are born of a different ethnicity outside of white or even African American, and they want to get into Hollywood, but they can never get the chance to star in the lead role. And as we kind of mentioned before, how many movies tend to try to get mostly white actors because those are the only ones they can really market to an international audience if they want to sell the movie abroad. Especially if this is this is a movie that's based off of an Asian property. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's the weird thing, right? Because usually they do that to try and sell to China, and this is a thing based on an Asian thing. So
yeah.
Then again, though, China and Japan don't like each other, though. So I'm wondering
Very
if maybe
true.
that was part of the
I can attest to that.
I don't know. That's so weird. But like that reason is such crap though, because like we know that if you make a fucking good movie and people like it, people will go and see it. Like all of this abstract marketing nonsense is so fucking archaic now that it really kind of makes me angry. Like
At the end of the
it's
day,
so pointless these
at the end of the
days.
day, it all revolves around the power of the mighty dollar.
Well, the thing is, the internet kind of makes all this sort of superfluous, and I don't think movie companies have realized it yet.
Uh-huh.
Because so many people put so much time into analyzing film now and breaking things down and breaking down trailers and breaking down news. And so many people like live their lives like people like us like just like constantly inundated with the stuff and constantly reading and watching stuff
Mm-hmm.
that this abstract marketing crap I don't think makes enough of a difference in the end box office result that they should even think about it anymore. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
But just the the way you look at look at the successful films.
Mm-hmm.
Like name 2 successful movies that came out recently.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is the big one, and then for me the second one is Deadpool.
Okay.
Those are like the 2 biggest movies of recent memory. And like the reason why is because the fucking internet fell in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
And when the internet falls in love with something, that's a generally good indication that the general public has as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not necessarily, but at the very least, it shows to me that the general consensus of something is positive if the internet seems to grasp onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Batman v Superman, complete opposite reason. but even then, that's another example of the internet's a good read on these things. And I don't think that, and I think movie studios need to start realizing that, and also realize that's also where their greatest adversaries are because they get their shit fucking ripped apart by these people, and then their opinions become the ones that people tend to usually point to as the thoughts that they share as well. So I think that this is just really really poor decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And very very like dated now. Like this like 10 years ago if this would have happened wouldn't have even raised an eyebrow.
Uh-huh.
But now it's like who are you trying to fucking fool?
Mm-hmm.
Like who do you think is going to go see this movie? Who like care about that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like and maybe it's because they thought Scarlett Johansson was so fucking perfect for this role that they wanted to cast her.
Yeah.
But something about that doesn't sit right with me.
I mean, she was previously in Lucy and the Avengers, so it's like, hey, here's a popular name for a female action movie actress.
Also,
yeah, and
more
she's
recently, she was a snake.
Great.
So
That too.
That too as well. She's fucking great. I just rewatched Age of Ultron recently. She is awesome in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, and that's the one that the feminists all lost their shit over.
Oh
yeah,
you know
it's
what?
like,
I rewatched it though,
she can't be a
that.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I rewatched that. So the scene you're referring to is the one where she talks about, you know, being a monster and everything, and she connects that vaguely to not being able to have children, and that's not the idea.
No, it's not.
That is one of the worst constructed sequence of dialogue I have ever seen. I don't know what Joss Whedon was thinking when he wrote those series.
The movie isn't saying that people who are infertile are monsters.
No.
The movie is saying that she feels
She feels like a monster because she fucking kills people.
Yeah, yeah.
And so does the Hulk. That's what that scene is about. The problem is, though, that Joss Whedon linked it. I don't think he did it on purpose. He linked it directly into the inability to have children. But you want to know why he did that? Because he's making a point about that making it easier to kill. That's the idea. It's not that because she can't have children, she's a monster.
Well, I think that my thought was that the idea was that she was like sympathizing with his being abnormal, like she feels abnormal.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe, yeah, and that's sort of the idea. It's not that because she's a woman, the only worth that she has is that she.
Oddly enough, they recently did the same thing better in Fuller House of all places.
Oh yeah, it's true. Again, it's just a poorly constructed scene. He should have paced out those two parallels between them a little further apart. But I think that's just a matter of how rushed all those ideas are. Just like everything is so crammed in that movie. I think that scene is a big example of it. If that movie had some of the things cut out that it should have, they probably would have had more room to parallel those characters a little more and make that stuff a little bit more kind of clear in terms of what he was trying to say with it. But anyway,
Anyways, moving on.
we were trying to rush through this, weren't we?
So
next thing.
Next thing is that Saban revealed the official movie logo for their upcoming Power Rangers live-action adaptation film.
It's complete crap. Moving on.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I thought they released the.
Let me see the turd for myself.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. Listen, I'm exaggerating.
Didn't they release another logo like a couple months ago and saying this was the logo?
It's the words Power Rangers with lightning in it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the last one was, but the thing with the last one was
it looked like
just the normal Power Rangers.
Yeah, it was
logo.
just it was the normal one, Saban's Power Rangers.
It's just the
and
this
it was
one.
Just like,
it's a different, it's a more generic font here, although with a red and silver motif.
It looks like somebody made this on fucking Microsoft Paint. Like it looks.
It's the same
It looks
concept.
really bad.
It's the same concept as the regular Power Rangers logo. It's just a slightly shittier version of that.
Yeah, it's the original Power Rangers logo in a generic font.
I would say the never released fan film MMPR had a much better designed logo.
I'm not even crazy about that one.
I would say that MMPR is probably going to wind up being better than this movie.
Probably.
Well, I've been wanting to talk about MMPR for like the last several years. Or at least for the last year, because there has been a lot of controversy around that fan film, because it's like that movie was funded back in 2013, and we have seen almost jack shit from it.
Didn't they release like a short or something?
Oh, just like a 5-second clip or something.
Oh, okay.
No, they released like 2 like clips or something, and
I mean, because I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
I remember when that trailer came out. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, and we haven't had the final product in like the 3 years since.
Has there been? Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh, and they've been very quiet, and apparently they've been getting the people behind it, especially the director, has been getting a lot of infamy among the hardcore Power Rangers fans, especially across like Power Rangers message boards, because the director had this very pessimistic attitude toward Power Rangers, and that he only wanted to do this just because it was a recognizable property to further his own career. Yeah, it's just,
you don't want that guy directing a fan film. Like, that's not what fan films are for. They can be. But it's like, if you're gonna direct a fan film, it shouldn't be for the name value. It should be because you want to direct a fucking movie about that property.
It should probably be because
there are fans in this fan film, are there? Hello?
Yeah. You should probably be a fan.
Thank you, Dr. Malcolm.
You should probably be a fan of the thing you're making, a fan film. I mean, wow, I thought this would have been obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dr. Malcolm tapping on the glass here. It's the 2 Dr. Malcolms, the opposing doctor. I would like to see the 2 Dr. Malcolms have a debate about something tonight, so we're gonna see if that crops up. If you guys disagree on anything, I want to hear 2 Ian Malcolms debating about it, tapping on 2 separate pieces of glass.
Well, anyways,
tiny variations in the skin of the director's hand.
And now the director has jumped ship, and no one would have expected that. Now that's chaos theory.
That's chaos theory.
I know I'm myself talking to myself.
I should send you the link to what I found from other like forums that I dug up a couple months ago, but that's another story for another time. But for this, it's just, here's the new logo. Who the fuck even reveals logos nowadays?
I mean, Marvel and DC both do it.
Oh, that's true, but that's when they're announcing the movie, not like...
Yeah, well, they do it when they announce the film's going into production.
Yeah, they announce the film's existence.
Is it just me, or does the...
God, I can't believe I just said DC did something better than somebody else. That's hilarious. Oh, I feel good about myself.
Is it just me, or does the simple fact that they put Sabans over Power Rangers just cheapen it?
No, Disney and Marvel do the same thing. Marvel's the Avengers.
But like...
Disney, Epic Mickey, whatever, yeah.
But when Disney puts their name on something, it's impressive. When Saban does it, you're like, oh.
Yeah, but they're doing it with the hope that it will one day be impressive, in the hope that this makes a lot of money. And listen,
next thing you know, they're gonna have like a Saban cinematic universe. They're gonna bring back Mask Rider,
that's
VR Trooper, Beetleborgs, all that shit.
They'll bring they'll bring back fucking Masked Rider. I mean, can you imagine if they tried to bring back Masked Rider?
The Free-to-Noy.
My God!
Like, guys, that's Kamen Rider.
Kamen
Rider's popular in the U.S. now.
And then they'll team up with Michael Bay and cross over with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again.
Oh fuck!
See, I think Saban is also getting kind of paranoid because Super Sentai is becoming a thing in America.
Yeah.
Like people are starting to know what that is, and they're like, "Oh, this is a
Yeah.
lot better than Power
And
Rangers."
it's like,
So I think that they're trying to make people. They're trying to get people on their side,
Yeah.
I think is what they're trying to do. And they're trying to do that by making a successful
Funny
film.
thing
And I
is-
hope they do. I hope this is good because I like Power Rangers, but
Fun-
I don't have any faith in it whatsoever.
Funny thing is that I've been talking to sharing with several of my students because I'm a Japanese English teacher, or I'm an
Never
English,
brought that up before on the podcast. I'm kidding, I'm
and
kidding.
every once for the few adult classes that I had where the adults can I've shared with the adults, like they obviously all know Super Sentai because it's been around for 40 years. And so I would ask them if they know about the American version, Power Rangers, and almost none of them, no, pretty much none of them are aware of Power Rangers. And so, like for this last week, when I showed like one or two of my classes, like like the intro to the first season of Power Rangers, they would be like, "Oh, wow, well, what do you know?"
Well, what do you know about that?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah,
That's
they're
real.
just very.
Did they know what it is? Like, have they heard? They must have heard of
No,
it because Power Rangers aired in
no, they
Japan.
never heard about Power Rangers. They know Super Sentai, but
Really?
they don't know Power Rangers.
I thought Power Rangers aired in Japan.
I thought so too, but I guess they're not
Well,
aware of
why-
that shit. They're like,
It
why should
must-
we give a fuck about this thing?
just because
Weird.
Maybe they thought they were reruns of Jew Ranger.
That's gonna be
because
weird when
aired-
the Saban Power Rangers movie gets released in Japan because it's gonna look like a fucking reboot of Jew Ranger, and
Yeah.
people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is not what we wanted."
Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
is, just because it aired doesn't mean that anybody's aware of it. Like,
No, that's very true. That's very true. But hey, let's move on to the
Okay,
next thing.
next thing is-
We got bigger fish to fry.
Okay, so DC, of course, since 2007, DC has been putting, or Warner Brothers and DC have been putting out a series of original animated movies. The first several, for the majority of them, Bruce Timm was on board. Then he kind of dropped off the direct-to-video thing. So the recent movies have been mostly just adaptations of New 52 shit.
And garbage.
Yeah, from the general consensus, from what I've heard. Although
And from what I've seen, they are garbage.
I haven't seen any of them. I just lost in.
Son of Batman is garbage.
So Bruce Timm came back and he made Justice League Gods and Monsters. I haven't seen it, although Andrew Battaglia, aka Blue Eyes, he recommended it to me, so I should check that out soon.
I've heard nothing but good things, actually.
And so Bruce Timm is
I
coming
have
back.
heard nothing at all. So.
And so recently, Bruce Timm, he's coming back and he's doing an adaptation of Batman: The Killing Joke.
Because they're desperate.
So finally, there looks like, hey, for once we're getting a classic animated adaptation of a classic comic book. What do you know?
What do you know
I thought
about that?
I thought that was the whole point of these animated movies. But and it was announced that Batman: The Killing Joke, which is set to star both Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, is going to be rated R. So it's going to be the first
Yes.
DC animated original movie to receive an R-rated movie, or R rating.
Hamill,
This is going to be the
R-rated Hamill, I'm down for this.
Yes, and
People care about that more than Dark Knight Returns. Isn't that crazy, guys? Like they knew there would be more fan cry over a PG-13 Killing Joke than Dark Knight Returns. How
Yeah.
nuts is that?
Although what was really interesting is that DC put out or Warner Brothers put out a short clip of like a behind the scenes first look of Batman: The Killing Joke, and they had interviews with the people behind the scenes talking about.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, near the end of that sneak preview, they mentioned how because of how much the times have changed, they figured that this movie was still going to be rated PG-13 without having to change anything. So I'm really surprised that they announced that, oh, guess what? It's R in the end.
See, now that's interesting because you know what? Now that I'm thinking about the Killing Joke, though, it's not so much the gore or anything that's the cause of the R rating. It's just more of the ideas. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Barbara Gordon gets sexually assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing that people are going to get excited over, and that's the thing that's going to make people cheer when they see that
I'm
happen.
excited.
I mean, but you know what, Dylan? Fucking Commissioner Gordon also gets sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta appeal to all your audiences. Cover your bases.
You got to play all fields, right?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Gender-
There is
I'll-
nothing bad about
Everyone
this
gets sexually
whatsoever.
assaulted.
I'll just drink during those scenes. It'll be fine.
I mean, I'm going to be drinking during all the scenes.
Well, I
But-
was kind of a little bit disappointed with the quality of the animation. I mean, like the art style, in that barely resembles the art style from the comic, and they mentioned that it's like, oh, it's going to be too difficult to animate. But I think I've seen this across, as I think Browncoat Eric, who made a video about it on Geekvolution, talked about is how kind of like a lot of their animated films tend to have a very simplified art style that makes it easier to animate.
Here's the
And
thing.
It's a bit.
Here's the thing. A
It's
lot
a
of times when animators tell you that something is going to be like too hard to do, they're bullshitting you. This is something I learned on the special features of my Blu-ray of Who Framed Roger Rabbit when they were talking about some of like the really like insane animation work that they did in that. There were so many times when like the animation person would be like, "Oh, we can do this," and Bob Zemeckis would be like, "I thought you couldn't do that," and he'd be like, "No, you can pretty much do anything. People just don't want to do it." Like,
yeah.
See, that's the thing. But these are made super cheap. But you think they pull out the stops for the Killing Joke, man? This has been in production for years.
hmm
Like this has been something that they've been talking about doing for a long time. You'd think they go, of all the ones that we're gonna do, this is the one we're gonna pull out all the stops for because this is the one that people care about because it's the Joker story.
hmm
This is the one that everybody remembers. So I don't know. I'm with you. It doesn't look amazing, the animation wise. I think just overall, I'm very excited about it. And that's the thing. I can deal with it. It doesn't have to look just like the comic for me. The art of the comics, while good, the comic, it's a graphic novel or a one shot technically, or is it a miniseries? I forget.
No, one
It's
shot.
something. It's a one shot. It was technically it was originally supposed to be an Elseworld, but it was later brought into
A glorified one shot.
canon. It was exactly. It was when I finally read it, it was a lot shorter than I expected.
Yeah.
But the art is great, but it's not like that kind of iconic, totally necessary to the story kind of art that you get with Dark Knight Returns, in my opinion. Like Dark Knight Returns kind of has to look like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the story doesn't work.
Although even then, like the animated as much as I love the animated adaptation of the Dark Knight Returns, I felt like the animation looked a little too clean.
It's halfway, and
Yeah.
that's what this is. I think it looks a little bit like the comic. I mean, the Joker in particular, I think, looks like the comic book version, at least a little bit. Batman, I mean,
He looks
that
like
version
Batman.
He looks like Batman, and that version of Batman as well was the super generic, like not super generic. He was like the simplified
Silver
blue
Age,
tights,
Silver Age Batman.
the simplified Silver Age Batman, and that's what this looks like. Just a little bit more. They make it look a little sharper, a little blacker to match with the more modern take on Batman. And maybe that's not what you'd want.
Almost
but
interestingly enough, they also gave Batgirl, they're adding an extra sequel, like a little prequel sequence in order to establish who Batgirl is before she eventually gets sexually assaulted
why
and
do they need to
paralyzed
do
for
that?
life.
The people they are marketing these movies to know who the fuck Batgirl is.
No, I'm actually very okay with that because part of the problem with the comic is that she gets shot and they don't really expound upon it enough. Like they don't expound upon why it's a big deal enough.
Also, the story is short, so they need something to kind of sort of artificially extend the story, the film's length.
Yeah, it's a very short comic. They'll probably, I imagine what they'll do is the thing they'll expound upon is probably the Joker's origin. That they'll probably make that longer.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I like almost everything about this.
Yeah,
except
You
the
guys hear the
end.
recent announcement that we're getting like a canon Joker origin in the comics?
That'll last for
yeah.
2 seconds because DC just rebooted.
Remember
so, like,
when Joker got his face cut off? Remember when Joker got superpowers in, what was it, Batman Endgame?
Yeah, you remember when Joker was immortal? That was a thing recently.
Remember when Joker stole Mr. Mixie Bliss's powers?
You guys, oh my god, that's right. And he killed Batman like 1,000 different times, and yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
You guys remember that time the Joker was a 50-year-old mob boss that got shot in the mouth and fell in a vat of acid, and
You guys,
then he danced around to Prince music?
yeah, it was the best one. You guys remember?
I don't know about that, Dylan, but it was certainly a one.
You guys remember the time? You guys remember the time that the Joker? Shit.
You guys remember that time the Joker?
What hasn't he done? Remember the time he raped Barbara Gordon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly do. Every night I remember. This is getting fucked. All right.
Read that comic every night.
The last thing I wanted to say is that, like, I am happy that we're getting another, like, classic adaptation, especially one that's considered one of the most definitive Batman stories. If they ever decide to want to make another classic adaptation instead of sticking with the New 52 pseudo continuity thing they got going on with their recent movies, I really want to see an animated adaptation of Kingdom Come.
I think that's in the pipeline. I don't see how it's not. It's also extremely popular right now because people kind of saw Batman v Superman and were like, I need something to cleanse my palate. And Kingdom Come was what a lot of people went to as far as I've heard.
Because
So
that's one of my favorite
A lot of
DC.
people, a
Personally,
lot of
that's one
people
of my favorite
drew,
DC comics, and it's one of the
I've
reasons.
actually never read it.
a lot of
Really?
people
Oh,
drew
okay.
parallels to the themes of Kingdom Come and how they kind of predicted the way that the DC movies have gone, which is interesting. Um,
Yeah, it is. I know the basic plot of that. It's like Superman, like people think he's not cool enough or whatever, and they kick him out of the world or something. And
Wait, what?
no, what it
isn't
is,
that the
there's
plot
like
of
a new
Kingdom Come?
That's
generation
not
of
Kingdom
superheroes.
Come.
There's
That's
like this
no,
whole
wait,
new generation of
wait,
superheroes
wait.
that are like
Oh
in.
wait, no, sorry. I thought you said Batman. No, yeah, Superman.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Superman's all like, oh, people don't like me anymore. I'm fucking done with this
It's like a
shit.
commentary on like the '90s super edgy super comic books that were coming out at the time.
Okay,
Superman
I'm
like
gonna give
goes
it a
up
read.
to his fortress of solitude and like farms for years, and then it's
Also,
like
it's a comic book that's completely drawn by Alex Ross, so it's fucking gorgeous.
All right, I gotta see. I've read one Batman comic that he wrote and drew, and it was fucking awesome. And that's the only
Wait,
thing
was
I
that the
think
one
I've
that he
ever
worked with he worked on with Paul Dini?
potentially. It was one where Batman was like present at the death. No, okay, so Batman was blamed by some kid for the death of his parents, and that was like a big moment for him because he was like he felt like he was the Joe Chill. He felt like Joe Chill,
Oh, was it called Batman War on Crime?
maybe.
can,
Okay.
can, can
Did he not write that?
No, that was the Paul Dini Alex Ross collaboration.
Oh, I thought he wrote that. All
Because
right.
they,
Well, he
Paul
drew
Dini
it,
and
and it was pretty sexy.
Paul Dini and Alex Ross, they collaborated on a Batman story, a Superman, and a Wonder Woman story.
Oh, I want to read the Superman one too,
And I want
because the Batman is really good.
uh-huh.
It's fun. It's like, God, I want to pull it out now
Mhm.
because it's such like a traditional Batman. It's like, hey, I'm a good person.
I'm a
I like
good
to,
person.
I like to help people.
Martha.
That's why I put this dumb suit on. Is I like to help people, not like
Yeah.
blow things up and kill
Was it
aliens.
that one?
Yeah, that's the
Which is
one.
Oh, okay.
why I would do
What,
that.
what kind of bothers me
Which
about
is
how
why Dylan would be Batman.
what kind of always bothered me a little bit about how how Alex Ross draws Batman is how he always puts the brow. He shows the brow on like the on the skin tight cowl.
I feel
That
like
doesn't make any
I
sense.
feel like
Yeah.
it's inspired by like, don't they do that in the movies? Like in '89, isn't there like a brow built
Yeah.
mask?
Yeah,
It's
but not the
not as
brow.
exaggerated.
It's the forehead. That's the what bothers me.
The Batman Begins suit looks a lot like Alex Ross's Batman to me,
Hmm.
without the gray parts. Obviously, the armor obviously doesn't look like his, but the mask, the cowl, and the cape and everything.
Hmm.
Like in profile, when he has the cape laid over him, it looks like Alex Ross's Batman to
Hmm.
me.
Okay,
But
so
anyway,
moving
we
on.
got again bigger fish to
Okay,
fry.
moving on. So it's been reported that the Pokemon Company or in Nintendo are trying to have a top secret auction for the film rights to the Pokemon franchise, which is currently underway and nearing completion, with Legendary Pictures pushing hard to secure the franchise, and sources claim Warner Brothers is also interested, as well as Sony Pictures.
All right, I'm
So it
gonna
looks
call it
like.
right now. I'm gonna call it right now. Ben Affleck is Ash Ketchum. Matt Damon is Pikachu.
Oh my god. Please don't even say that because now I want it.
Well, he sounds like a poke. If you listen to Team America World Police, he sounds like a Pokemon. Matt Damon, Matt Damon,
Matt Damon, I choose you.
Matt Damon.
If you watch The Martian, he's in it.
Okay,
And that's it. That's all I had to
Matt
say.
Damon.
There's even a 1% chance that Mewtwo might kill us all. We have to take it as a 100% fact.
So wait, this is like Ash Ketchum. Did Ash Ketchum ever have like a name that he went by? Like, so Batman has the Dark Knight. Did Ash Ketchum ever have anything like that? The
No,
Pokemon Master.
like
We can call him the Immortal One because he never fucking ages.
All right, so the ageless one. So the ageless one return. I mean, he'd have to age though, because if Ben Affleck's gonna play him,
it's actually a
is
pretty
Ben
bad title.
Affleck supposed to be playing an 11-year-old boy?
Yes.
All right, never mind. I'm all about this now.
He regenerated.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, now he's a Time Lord, of course.
Oh, okay. So Legendary are going to purchase the rights to Doctor Who and Pokemon and blend them together. People will lose their minds over this, guys.
Uh, Doctor Pokemon. No, Doctor.
Isn't that a thing already? So it's a
There's
Oak
there's sort of
solo
a
movie.
character that many Pokemon fans like to think that he's based off of the Doctor, and he was called the Looker. And he's like a detective who goes around
What's
the
that fucking old guy's name who gives you your first Pokemon?
Professor Oak.
Professor Oak.
Yeah. He likes to be called. He likes to. I can't even say it because without laughing, he likes to be.
Dr. Oak. Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, 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 dun.
In fucking JonTron, he reviewed like a bunch of Pokemon knockoffs. Andres, do you remember this?
Yes.
What was the name of the
Elf
fucking
monster or something?
elf monster?
Holy shit,
That was
Andres.
it.
This
Yes.
guy in the face kind of looks like Dr. Oak. Conspiracy.
Or just similar drawing.
Conspiracy!
It was drawn by the same guy.
Sugimori.
Whoever, yeah, that guy.
The same artist who designed.
Where's he now? What's he up to
So
these days?
I'd like to think that he
I
was
think he's
designing-
still designing Pokemon because there's going to be a next generation of Pokemon called Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Oh my god.
I like to think
How many are there now?
There's
think
okay.
the
There's
guy who
Red.
designed this character and made him look exactly like Professor Oak. I like to think that he's the same artist who decided what Bardock and Turles would look like.
There is so for the first generation was Red, Blue, Yellow. Second generation was Gold, Silver, Crystal. Third generation was Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Fourth generation was Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Fifth generation was Black and White, Black 2 and White 2. Sixth generation was X and Y, and now seventh generation is Sun and Moon.
I hate that so much it hurts. Wow.
And
That genuinely upsets me.
And that's not including all the remakes of older games, like Red and Blue were remade as Fire Red and Leaf Green. Gold and Silver were remade as Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and 2 years ago, Ruby and Sapphire were remade as Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Why do we need
5%.
Why do we need so many generations of Yugi Mans and Pokemon?
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second.
Yes.
Only 5%.
Yes.
It's a small percent of all animal life that has ever existed on this planet exists on the Earth right now. It's either 5 or 1%. I cannot remember. I think it's 1% now that I'm thinking about it. How can that many Pokemon, with all of their evolutions and all of their battles and all of their vague origins, live on the Earth at the same time?
Remember, it's implied that they're from space originally. So
okay, that's true.
So
it's implied.
So space.
Well, one of them is from space. That's Deoxys.
No, but wasn't there
I thought they were all
there's
from
like
space.
this old
That
episode.
was like an episode where they're like, "We're all from space, guys."
No, Andres, there's like this old episode where it's implied that like the Clefairies, I think, are from might be from space.
Well,
and
that's
then,
one. That's a really early episode. Wow.
But I thought it was like a shot of it was like a spaceship flying. I remember this so vividly in my head.
That like the original Pokemon like came to Earth from space and then like evolved into all the different kinds of Pokemon that are now naturally on Earth.
Well, a lot of people like to think that some particular legendary Pokemons, especially the fourth generation, introduced the equivalent of God as a Pokemon, Arceus, and he was like the creator of all the other Pokemon, and then he created the legendaries, and the legendaries kind of created the rest of the species.
And then he looked upon the Pokemon and saw that it was good.
And he liked it. All right, let's move on.
The number of Pokemon so far is 722.
Oh,
and then he created the tree, but then he couldn't get around it because he didn't know cut.
How are you gonna catch them all? Do they even say that anymore? Gotta catch them all? Because there's no way you're gonna catch them all.
So, man. Although
because that's a lot.
It's impossible.
That's a lot of pressure to put on a small child.
That is the first lie I was ever told.
Right? Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid to catch them all. Like, you've got to catch them all, kid.
And by the way,
you can't miss them.
We're gonna release another 100 every fucking year.
Also, and you gotta catch them too. Otherwise, you're gonna be a fucking
only some of them you can get during special events where you have to go to a GameStop and download it.
Not only do you gotta catch them all, but you gotta train them and evolve them, and you need to catch multiple EVs because there are different evolutions, and you gotta do all this shit.
And don't get us started on
free.
those holographic cards.
Okay,
All right, let's
so
move on.
moving on. So now let's talk about the big 2 trailers that came out. Well,
Oh, okay, good,
there was
finally.
Doctor Strange, but do you really want to talk about Doctor Strange? Because I'm not.
Yeah, for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah,
I think
sure.
it looks
I'm not
really
a.
interesting.
I never read Doctor Strange. My only experience with Doctor Strange was like an episode of The Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk.
Yeah, he was in that. He was also in Spider-Man a bit. He was in
Yeah.
he might have been in Iron Man. Anyway,
he's been
I've
in
never read a
games.
Doctor Strange comic, but I like that character a lot.
His origin is
And-
interesting.
It's very interesting, and I'm glad that that's what this movie is, because Marvel doesn't really do origin stories anymore. I mean, they kind of do. They did Ant-Man's an origin story, and Guardians. Okay, so they mostly only do origins.
Iron
but...
Man, the movie that started the whole thing.
No, but
Captain
after...
America was an origin
Captain
story.
America.
Thor was an
I'm
origin story.
I'm saying after the Avengers, you dickheads. After the Avengers, they were like, no more origin stories.
And really,
Ant-Man was an origin story.
Well, not
movies...
for the original, not for the
But
concept
it's
of Ant-Man.
a origin story.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just saying that
Also,
this shocked me because A, Doctor Strange is already established in the current MCU, so this is technically a prequel.
Okay.
the Avengers is technically the origin of a team.
Dylan, I'm gonna come over there. I'm gonna fucking give you a handshake because that was a good point. I'm into this. It's not a great trailer. It's weirdly paced. The ending is great. Like, you see Doctor Strange in his full costume from the back, walking into the window of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
That would have been
And that's
impressive
pretty cool.
if we hadn't already seen the costume and behind the scenes snapshots.
I can agree with that, except that it looks so much better with CG behind it.
Yeah.
Like, it looks incredible.
Spawn could learn a thing or two from that shot.
Yeah, a movie from almost 20 years ago could learn a thing or two from a movie from now. Very, very good.
I demand that all movies
Spawn,
meet the same standard,
if
regardless
Spawn
of the year they were.
wants to come back to the limelight.
I got you. I'm fucking with you. But I don't know.
Remake Spawn.
Todd McFarlane wants to.
There's not a whole lot of magic in this, though.
No, outside
really
the Inception sort of visuals.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
It's a lot more like interdimensional than it is magical, and I think that's probably what this is going to be more focused on. Apparently his powers are only going to scratch the surface of what he can do.
Because I think it is interdimensional because remember that it's already been explained in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that magic is nothing more than science that we do not yet understand.
Well, that's the case. That's the case for Thor, but is it gonna is the same logic gonna apply here? Or
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I would imagine
that's always
it's all connected.
That's always
It's
been
all
the weird.
connected.
That's always been the weird thing about the Marvel comics is that each comic book character in their universe has like their own rules, and then when you put them together, really weird shit happens.
Well, it's like you have Ghost Rider and Thor in the same universe, and it's like, so there's a Judeo-Christian god, and there's several gods, and then you have Hercules. It's well, but that's it though. They have a multiverse. They have different dimensions that act as, and that's what Doctor Strange is all about. He's all about stopping dimensional threats.
The thing about Ghost Rider though is it's unclear whether or not in this universe the Judeo-Christian religion is true, or whether like these demons are just interdimensional beings that we have come to associate with like a god. It's weird.
Well, there are angels though.
It's true.
And they do, and the angels create a Ghost Rider at one point.
It all depends.
And Thor has an underworld, doesn't he?
Yeah, there's a hell with one L.
It all just depends on who's writing the comic that week.
Listen, it's all bullshit. All I'm saying is that this looks fucking cool and I want to see it.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
But do you guys agree? It's not a great trailer though. I think it's a problematic trailer.
It's generic.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, dude, no, hold on. There was that moment where it's like, what would I tell you if I could give you powers beyond your wildest imagination? In my head, I'm thinking, well, you kind of sound like an infomercial, but not a good one. Like, not Slapshot, but more shake weighty.
Yeah.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
God, we're going to have a rough couple of superhero movies because anything written before Deadpool is going to feel like garbage now. I'm really concerned that I'm going to see Civil War and go, oh no, I really wish this was written post Deadpool because this is too This is too comfortable with the formula now.
Somebody said I think someone made a meme where it's like Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet, yeah, Scarlet Witch actually did perform a non-superhero landing, and Deadpool was like, yeah.
Anyway, so Doctor Strange trailer looks cool to me. I'm excited. It's not a great trailer. It doesn't do enough to fucking explain the concept of Doctor Strange. Like I showed this to somebody, like one of my friends. Oh, fucking Joe Massinio. Joe Massinio.
You paused.
I know. I was like, I don't even know. I was being vague about it, and I was like, everybody totally knows who this is. Joe Massinio. Watch this trailer, and he didn't.
He's not a comic book person at all.
No, he's not. And it's totally fine. And he likes the Marvel movies, and he watched it, and he was just kind of like, I don't really get it. And I was like, that's totally fair, because it like doesn't do enough. The trailer kind of assumes it doesn't get deep enough into it, and also doesn't explain enough what Doctor Strange is. It doesn't go, okay, he's an asshole who became a good guy to save the world from interdimensional dickheads.
I think the trailer assumes that the people who are going to be excited for this movie already know what Doctor Strange is, and so it's.
I think that's really arrogant.
How many of those people who are excited for Doctor Strange actually are fans of Doctor Strange, like big fans to go out and get stories and the merchandise and whatnot?
Because I don't think any of us could say that.
Right.
I mean, he has a following though. It's weird. Marvel has.
I guess people like the concept of Doctor Strange, but does anyone actively go out of their way to see to expose themselves to Doctor Strange?
Marvel isn't like DC, where like there are like 5 characters that everybody knows and the rest are super obscure. Marvel has so many characters that have like followings, but just aren't known in like the wider general populace.
Yeah, and that's why it's a lot easier for Marvel to pull out their obscure characters, because people give a shit. Marvel made their name on obscure shit in the 70s. Like, everybody was reading Ghost Rider, Luke Cage, or Power Man as he was known at the time, fucking Iron Fist. Like, everybody was reading the no-names. Because they were the ones those were the characters where interesting stories were being told, because the Comics Code was in its, like, those were the ending days for that, so a lot of stuff was getting hit really hard. But in point being, Marvel has a bit of an easier time with that, but I think that they are perhaps riding on that knowledge with this, and that might bite them in the ass. Like, I'm not sold on this.
I feel like so far they've been writing like on characters that people know. So it's like they're used to being able to put up a trailer, and Iron Man pops up in the trailer, and everybody goes, "Oh, it's Iron Man!" And so they sort of market Doctor Strange in the same way, and people are like, "What? Who is it?"
Yeah, but I kind of feel like Doctor Strange's look is like, people know that look at least, because he's such a weird fucking character that everybody talks about.
Yeah. I mean, even though I wasn't a Doctor Strange fan, I got excited when I saw the very first official look at the costume. I was like, "Holy shit, they got the costume!"
Those Entertainment Weekly photos are so much better than this trailer.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, it gives you a sense of like, this is Doctor Strange.
I love whenever in the comics, whenever he like casts a spell, like his energy like forms these like really intricate patterns. You know, like the circular thing. Like, are they gonna do that in the movie? Because like,
yes, they have a guy on set coaching Benedict Cumberbatch with doing that. That's an entire like department.
Good, because it's like an essential piece of the character to me.
Well, the whole hands thing is probably going to be like important to the characters. Like, it's probably going to be a symbol or something. I don't know. It's going to be all symbolic and like probably very ethereal.
Well, the thing about it is Doctor Strange learned his magic like in like Tibet or some shit, and like the symbols that he makes with his magic are very similar to like Hindu or Buddhist, like those mandala things that like Buddhist monks spend like years like drawing in sand and then erasing.
Well, anyways,
do you guys think that this is going to feature the last thing we'll talk about, because then we have to move on?
Because I only got less than half an hour left.
Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say is, you guys think there'll be a time skip in this? Because I think that it's very likely to...
Well, he's probably...
Because Doctor Strange's origin takes place over years, so...
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of training to learn
magic. They might pull something
magic.
Similar to Batman Begins. Maybe less flashback, but... Well, I get a Batman Begins vibe.
I kind of wish they would do more flashbacks, though, because there's a lot... You have to get through a lot in order to get him to chilling in the Sanctum Sanctorum with Wang.
I want to know what they're doing as far as a villain plot, because I would love to see Dormammu on screen.
Here's something. I bet there's going to be another generic and forgettable villain.
Well, it's Mads Mikkelsen. So that's...
And
So
again,
certainly
we
good
had Christopher
performance.
Eccleston for Thor 2.
This
Yeah,
could go either way to me.
They wasted their Eccleston. It was terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I don't know, because they're setting up Mordo, obviously. I mean, and he's not going to be the villain of the movie. He and Doctor Strange are going to be friends like they usually start out as. So he'll probably be the villain in the second one. Or maybe he'll be the villain in the here and now. Because again, I think we're likely to see like a time skip of like Doctor Strange with the status quo in the
Oh,
here
I
and
remember
now.
Baron Mordo. I remember him from the Spider-Man animated series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who Chiwetel Ejiofor's playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baron Mordo, and you see, if you do Baron Mordo, you kind of gotta touch on Dormammu, because most of the time he tends to be Dormammu's like bitch. So
I have a feeling that whoever Mads Mikkelsen is gonna die or not very quickly, but die towards the end, and then Mordo's gonna take his place, and I think that he's going to be working for Dormammu. I think that's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like Dormammu's probably gonna be like the Thanos of this.
Yeah.
Like he'll probably be built up
because
throughout.
Dormammu is one of Marvel's like big interdimensional, if he comes to Earth, everybody's fucked type villains.
So I'm almost wondering if maybe, because I think they might do. Guys, we have to move on. But
Yes,
I think they might
please.
do like a bunch of magic fucking shit crossover in the Marvel universe, and they might save Dormammu for that. Anyway, let's talk about Star Wars, shall we? Andres, go.
Okay, well, last week the Star Wars trailer dropped. Though the trailer for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, dropped, and we got our first look at the story, the cast, and the visuals, the aesthetics. And yeah, it's basically going to be the story of how the Rebel Alliance got their hands on the plans to the Death Star, which led to the events of Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope.
You guys,
Best trailer of the week.
You guys, I never thought they would be able to top.
Controversial opinion.
I never thought they would be able to top that Force Awakens trailer. Not the teaser, but not the teaser.
Oh, this one gave us like a full-on like here's the basic.
Oh my god, I was shocked how much they showed.
I'm not talking about the teaser trailer. I'm not even talking about the teaser trailer either. I enjoyed this trailer more than the actual Force Awakens trailer, where you actually see the Millennium Falcon flying and shit. Like this trailer.
You saw the Millennium Falcon flying in the teaser, Dylan.
You did? Or
Yeah.
well, you know the one I'm talking about.
The final trailer, the one where it was like
The main
everywhere, run away
one that
in fear.
starts out with Maz Kanata going, "Who are you?"
The final trailer.
Anyway, this trailer is so fucking good.
It's really, really
like
good.
My
it's
favorite trailer ever now.
I'm with you. It's great. Like when I say best trailer of the week, I kind of mean that. Like I think it's a better trailer than the other thing we're going to talk about
trailer.
in a second.
I think I want to look for that like what was it, that Empire alarm, and try to get that on my phone.
Oh my god, that sound is so fucking haunting.
Yeah.
Like I never really think about it when you watch the original trilogy, because it's whenever that sound pops up, it's always during like fights and explosions and shit. Like usually that's during a space battle. But when you hear it just isolated and with people looking scared, ooh, it hits you.
They even managed to top the Force Awakens trailers with the whole like thing that they like the voiceover where Snoke was like, "There's been an awakening." Like that was really cool. But they even managed to top that in this trailer with Forrest Whitaker's like, "What will you do when they catch you?"
Oh my god,
what you gonna do when they come for you?
What will you do if they break you? And then you see like Donnie.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
What will you become?
Mm.
I love that so much. Like
Ooh,
that.
And the very end, they combine the dun 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 with the dun 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 dun.
They mix
One thing
the Empire's
I-
theme with
one thing I was
they
always-
mix the dark side and light side's themes. Yeah.
One thing I was always worried about with this movie is it's the first Star Wars related film ever that's not going to be scored by John Williams. But based on what I saw in the trailer, I think Desplat is going to give us something really neat, and I like how he's utilizing the themes that John Williams.
Oh,
famous.
this is Desplat?
Yeah, it's the same guy who did Godzilla.
Okay.
Eh,
All right. I'm
Gareth likes.
I like the Godzilla score. I don't love it though.
But I mean, listen to what he did in this trailer. He took the classic themes and he like altered them, and he did his own thing, and it was just it was amazing.
Yeah, no, I really liked it.
game's
I
so
think
far.
that this is likely to be. I think there's a chance that this could potentially be a better movie than The Force Awakens.
I think it is safe to say that it will be the best prequel we've ever had.
But The other thing is, God, this looks like a good fucking war movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that's got me pumped. Like, this looks like a good war movie. Like, you can't really say that about the other Star Wars movies. Like, they're not really war movies. They're films about war with a lot of other stuff going on.
I can't wait until we get more trailers, because this trailer, like, held back. They didn't show us any Darth Vader, but we know Darth Vader's in the movie.
Oh, he's apparently in the film a lot, and that really gets me excited.
Yeah.
And I imagine they haven't confirmed that Palpatine's in it, but I don't see how he's not. Like, I don't really see how they do this story without
Any
him.
chance you have to bring back Ian McDermott is a chance worth taking.
Also, especially since how old he is, so they should really use him whenever they can.
Yeah. The prequel trilogy. One thing they did do right is they used Christopher Lee while he was still alive.
But Andre, what's the big stuff that you guys want to say with this? Because we have a bigger fish to fry.
There are two major questions about this trailer that intrigued me the most. One being Ben Mendelsohn's character. Who the fuck is he? What role is he gonna play? How is his relationship? What is he doing on the Death Star? What's his relationship with the other
guy
character?
dressed in white.
He is an admiral. We know that.
It could be
people think that he's Admiral Thrawn because of the badges on his chest.
But every admiral has that.
He's not gonna be Thrawn. They're not.
Thrawn is a fucking post Return of the Jedi character, and if they move him, people are gonna be pissed.
First of all, Thrawn was supposedly around during all the during all the original trilogy stuff. It's just he was out in the unknown reaches, like conquering new planets for the Empire. But he's not going to be Thrawn. It would piss people off so much if they did Thrawn and then changed him to a human, because it's a huge.
Because that defeats the entire purpose
of Thrawn.
The whole
purpose of his character is he managed to attain this like super high status in the Empire, despite the fact that they are prejudiced against aliens and he's a chiss.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not going to be Thrawn. He's going to be something new. And it's going to be awesome. It's the same shit. Star Wars fans are obsessed with trying to connect everything. It's like
there's a lot of that going on right now. I don't think we're going to get a lot of that.
I mean,
this movie.
The Force Awakens
very vague shit.
Yeah, The Force Awakens featured a lot of original characters as opposed to trying to grab stuff from extended universes.
Well, also, The Force Awakens, it made more sense to think of that because that's a saga movie.
Now, that's not to say that
that's part of the saga. This is just.
Now, that's not to say that Rogue One is not going to draw any inspiration from the expanded universe at all, because there is a now non-canon video game. I forget what it's called, but it's an old game where the plot of it was a band of rebels going to steal the Death Star plans.
Yeah.
And in that game, one of the main characters was a girl, and her name was not Jyn Erso, but like Jan Ors, like a really close name.
Oh.
Also, there's another character in that game who's actually the main character. In this movie, the female seems to be the main character, but in this game, like, this other guy was the main character, and he looks a lot like the dude with the mustache in the trailer that some people think is going to be Biggs.
Diego Luna?
Yeah. So it's clear that they're drawing some inspiration from that.
How can that be Biggs, though? If Biggs was like... that doesn't make any sense to me.
I do want to bring up this one thing where...
Biggs doesn't die until A New Hope, and this is before A New Hope. Didn't Biggs die in A New Hope?
He did die. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
There was just that one moment that I always chuckled at, where it's like, there's that moment where the main actress, she says, like, this is a rebellion, right? I rebel. And there's just that shot of just Mon Mothma just looking down. Is like, damn, she got me good.
I am so glad.
Glad
they brought back that actress. She actually filmed scenes.
Is it the same one?
Well, not the one from Return of the Jedi. This actress filmed some scenes as Mon Mothma in Revenge of the Sith that actually they got cut out of the movie, and she was actually pretty good in those scenes. They were all about her and some other senators, Padme included, and they were like setting up the Rebel Alliance.
I don't think.
And they got cut out of the movie because there were just too many plot threads.
Bring up Mon Mothma though, because she's like the only person in this who I recognize, and do you guys think that this doesn't make it clear like what this is about enough?
Well, there's a guy that you can barely see him. He's in the shadows behind Mon Mothma, who looks like the old dude from A New Hope that like goes over the plan with the people,
beard guy. Yeah,
beard guy.
Okay, cool.
So beard guy might be in the movie, or it might be a beard guy. Lots of guys have beards.
That's true. Many guys in Star Wars have beards.
Porkins have beards.
Porkins did have a beard. Porkins Jr. in The Force Awakens.
I want Porkins in this movie.
Porkins will probably make an appearance.
I want Porkins, a Star Wars story.
They need to.
Uh,
This could be finally be Kevin Smith's chance to play Porkins.
Indeed, the casting choice made. Well, not really, because I don't think he's fat enough to do that now.
Aw.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we
Anyway.
got Admiral Akbar in The Force Awakens because now that guy's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you can never really bring that
Maybe
character
maybe
back.
now the
my-
movie maybe because
my
the movie's
feels-
finished, maybe he already did some voice work for this movie.
I saw that news that he had died, and I was like, oh, my feels cannot handle bad news of that magnitude.
All right. I think that this looks good. I don't know if it's gonna be as successful as Disney thinks it's gonna be, though. And I don't know what their projections are. They might be being really conservative with it. I don't
think as
know.
soon as
It
they-
looks pretty expensive, though.
I think it's gonna be. This trailer has already made so much like buzz on the internet happen, and once they start bringing out like bigger trailers that actually show us a little bit of Vader and shit, like it's. I think it's gonna do well.
I think it'll do well. I just
sorry,
don't know
can
if
we
it's
move on?
not going to be as successful as
But
The
the
Force
other major
Awakens.
question that I have regarding the trailer is there's this very interesting shot that everybody's been speculating about, the one where you see the back to tank and the two royal guards and the hooded figure coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys make of all that? I can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
A lot of people originally I saw some people saying, "Oh, it's Darth Vader kneeling to the Emperor," and I'm like, "No, clearly he's not wearing a helmet. You silly people."
Some people are like, oh, what if Vader's in the tank and he's not wearing any armor?
Which I guess could be possible given the nature.
Why would the Emperor's guards be there, though?
But Vader doesn't really need a tank like that because he has that meditation chamber that pretty much does the same job.
But what if he got like blown out of the armor or something?
Well, then that would be a whole thing that would need to be set up. The other thing is some people have said, well, maybe the hooded guy is the Emperor. I don't think so. Only because this character is clearly wearing a cape, and we've never seen the Emperor wear a cape. He wears like a robe.
No, but he's not really about that.
So yeah, I don't think it's the Emperor either. So the question is, who the fuck is it? And the other question is, who the fuck is in the back to tank? Some people have said, what if it's Snoke? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
I think Snoke might be the guy in the hood, and potentially maybe the Emperor is the guy. I think it's almost certain that the Emperor is in the tank. I don't think it's Vader. I've heard that. I don't think that's true. I have a feeling that Vader isn't really going to be a person in this movie. I think he's kind of just going to be a force of nature who pops up every now and then.
The most interesting thing about the shot, really, is the presence of the two Imperial guards. Because if there are Imperial guards here, then either the guy in the hood or the guy in the tank is somebody very important. Because the Imperial guards only answer to the Emperor. Darth Vader can't even give them an order; they won't follow.
No.
So something big is going on here. And it's just,
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what. It's driving me crazy, actually.
Indeed.
Can we move on now?
Andres
Yes,
is itching to move the fuck on.
Yes,
So let's
I'm running out of time
Andres,
here.
You say the news. You say everything you want to fucking say, because Dylan and I have already talked about it.
Okay, so
Andres,
Godzilla
go.
Resurgence. The trailer came out. Of course, whenever anything new Godzilla comes out, of course the fans are going to debate and complain and praise and do everything.
The internet went to war this week, boys.
Yes. We finally got like the first good look at this. Unlike the trailer from Godzilla 2014, this one just showed you Godzilla saying, "Here he is. Look at him."
I mean, he's in the first shot,
And I can say
that was pretty, and it was my favorite shot.
And I gotta say, yeah, about that shot, it looked very interesting because the rest of the movie, the rest of the trailer had shots of Godzilla moving very slowly, and yeah, we had that first shot of him roaring where he moves a lot faster, like if it was like a hand puppet or something. I was very curious about that.
What's funny is the trailer was like, "Here he is, look at him," and then fans everywhere were like, "Ugh."
I did show this to a lot of my Japanese students, and a lot of them are my adult students, and a lot of them are completely unaware that there's a new Godzilla movie. And when I show them that, all they said, the general reaction was, "Wow, this is a scary Godzilla. I am not used to this." So I'm really digging the design. Like I said, I'm a lot more accepting of this design than most people are, only because I'm very interested in new, different takes on such a classic character that's been around for so long. And I think the whole deal with the small arms thing, I think after looking at because they recently also made an announcement that there's going to be a 13-inch figure of the Shin Gojira that's going to be available in Japan. So I'm going to track it down when it gets released in July. And looking at that, we got to see a full body pic of that. and it was shared several times on Toho on our Facebook group, Toho Nation.
Yeah, I will
And
say
looking
that
at
it
it,
does look better in the figure than it
oh,
does in the movie trailer. But the
oh yeah,
thing
yeah,
is,
and
the
the
way
thing
it
I
looks
like.
in the movie trailer is probably more representative of how it's going to look in the actual movie.
Yeah,
Um,
I was glad that in the movie, Godzilla's skin tone is a lot more black than we saw in those leaked photos where he looked very pinkish, reddish. Uh,
Yeah.
I was glad of that. I love the look, the color scheme of the Godzilla. Black and red are very good, great look, contrasting colors. And I think the fact that he's black with strips of red bursting out, he looks like a walking volcano, and I love that. And the whole thing with the small arms, I think they're trying to go for a more the proportions of a theropod dinosaur. They got the theropod legs,
Oh
the tiny
yeah.
legs, extended neck, long tail. And I told Dylan that maybe because of the small arms, he's going to rely more on that massive tail of his for physical combat. If this is
I
a
would
Godzilla,
imagine so.
if this is a Godzilla that gets involved, gets like down and dirty. And as for the tail itself is really long, and the tip of the tail. I was questioning what the heck was up with the red bit at the end of the
There's
tail,
something in there.
and
I looked at it very
and
closely.
the th-
There's bones in there that's not
And the thing is,
Godzilla's.
I think the tail is like it's what happens when lizards have their tails cut off, and a part of it is growing out, and it looks different from the rest of the tail. And I just shared with you a picture
it
of
could
a
be
lizard.
because that fits with the whole speculation that's been going around that he's going to regenerate over the course of the film.
Yeah,
I have a yeah, and like I said in DFOS, I have a feeling the movie's probably gonna end with a lot more of a traditional looking Godzilla than I think people are expecting. I think at the end he's gonna look a lot different.
Again, all of
uh,
this I will be fine with if the plot necessitates it.
Yeah,
I do want to say this. When I saw that trailer, the first thing that came to mind was this is definitely a Hideki Anno and Shinji Higuchi film. The cinematography, the special effects, all look like they came right out of that short film both of them produced. Giant God Warrior appears in Tokyo with the whole the day everything takes place in day from the few shots that we've seen. The whole
did you
concept.
like that, Andres, or did
Yeah,
that
yeah,
look
that
off?
was very interesting. It looked a lot better than I would have given them credit for. And composite shots with Godzilla and the rest of the city and those large wide shots look way better than what Toho could have did back in 1999 with Godzilla 2000.
Do
Uh,
you think like there's just not enough going on in the frame though? Like a couple of those wide shots I
well, I feel like
saw, I
they're
thought
meant to be establishing.
there's not enough going
Yeah, they're
on.
meant to be establishing shots saying like, meanwhile,
But
Godzilla's.
like the city looks too still to me. Like it looks too much like
Yeah, it's
it was an aerial shot of a very very quiet Tokyo.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
guess that was the case. I guess because the movie's still not finished yet, which could lead to some worrying because it's like the movie's 3 months away and they they're still not finished with the movie. And from what I hear, there were like reshoots or something. I don't know. Some people have
Ah, there's
thought,
always reshoots and
yeah,
stuff like this.
even like Suicide Squad is getting some reshoots now. Uh,
That's worrying though.
let's see. Oh, the music.
For different reasons
The
though.
music is totally the I think the composer for this movie is going to be the same guy who worked on the rebuild of Evangelion movies. The rebuild of Evangelion movies being a series of movies that are a cinematic reinterpretation of the original anime from the 90s. And the music itself is straight out of rebuild of Evangelion, and I love it. And I love the score to the third rebuild of Evangelion movie.
Think we'll get any cross-shaped explosions in this under.
It depends if
You know what?
Hideaki
I
Anno is
don't doubt. I
pretentious enough.
genuinely don't doubt
Funny
it.
enough, last night I went karaokeing with my friends, and we were singing the Evangelion theme. And
Oh my
my new friend Simon, who he saw
Sorry,
the trailer, and he
that was the geekiest sentence you've ever said. Can you repeat that?
was karaokeing with my friends, and we were singing the Evangelion theme song.
Thank you. That's
Oh.
beautiful in its simplicity. Okay, go on.
I'm just savoring it.
And my friend he was singing Simon, he was singing with me, and he saw the trailer to Godzilla and he was intrigued by it. A lot of my friends who are not Godzilla fans, they were all intrigued by it because it's so different from the general perception that they have on Godzilla. And I told him, hey man, the creator of Evangelion, he's doing Godzilla, and he paused for a moment. 5 seconds later, oh no. And I love that
Yeah,
reaction from him.
that is hilarious. A lot of people have had that reaction when they find out that that's what it is.
But then again,
Um,
forget he also made Gunbuster, and that is like pure 80s awesome action, blood pumping awesomeness.
Yeah, but
Well, which
but,
this is
but the
very
fact that
much
that
so
was made,
not.
but the
Yes,
fact
right.
that was made before Evangelion, one could just make the argument that was before he lost his mind.
Because this looks like a political drama with some action.
Yeah,
in
we
it.
don't
Like that's what this is.
don't see any of the human characters like getting involved in any like physical action. They're mostly just staring.
Not towards the very end.
Right. They're just like staring or reacting. They're doing their impressions of Ken Watanabe.
This movie looks like a lot of people standing around in rooms, which makes me hope that it's good. Like I really, really hope there's a good story.
My only problem really with the trailer is that it tells us nothing.
Right.
No,
it's just a mood piece.
Nothing that we didn't already figure.
They even muted the Japanese dialogue, so we can't even have like people on the internet translating it to get an idea of what the fuck's going on.
I am gonna go through and kind of translate as much of the text as I can, because there's some of the stuff on the boxes and everything. I want to find out what that says to see if it gives us any clearer indication of what might be going on. I'll talk about that when I do my solo video. Because I'm gonna do like a breakdown thing.
We do have a proper list of the characters' names. I just took a screenshot that August Ragone provided, or is it here? Looking
because there's like a shot of some stuff written on a box, and I'd like to see what that says.
Mm-hmm.
Says "Do not touch."
Here.
If that's but that would be interesting because somebody's touching it.
Hiroki Hasegawa as Rondo Yaguchi, Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary. We then have Yutaka Takenouchi as Hideki Akasaka, aide to the Prime Minister, and Satomi Ishihara, who I remember as Hanji, the goggles girl from the Attack on Titan movies, as Hayako Ann Patterson, special envoy for the president of the United States. So we have a deputy chief, cabinet secretary, an aide to the prime minister, and an envoy for the president of the United States. So they're all like people who work for larger political figureheads.
I get why they. So I do kind of have a problem with. So okay, I like that they had a Japanese actress play a Japanese girl from America to represent the U.S. That's clever. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily make sense that the president of the United States wouldn't be like, "There's a giant monster attacking Japan. We should probably send more than one person." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be like, "Can we get an entire corps of people, please?" Of all different colors and genders and all that.
Yeah.
Send them over to help these fuckers out. No, we're just gonna send one girl. My girl. Fair enough. Cool. But one. Just one. All right.
Okay, so I have to get going now, but otherwise, I thought it was.
Really? Okay.
I'm very sorry, man, but hopefully next time we'll be able to talk. Unfortunately, it's 1:13 p.m. right now, and my friends are waiting for me outside. But anyway.
Okay, no, I get it. It's cool.
At the end of the day, I love the trailer.
They're like chucking pebbles at his window.
Okay.
Does it?
Yes.
Are you concerned at all?
Yes, I am concerned because we know nothing about the story, and for all we know, a lot of the second act of the movie could be just people talking to each other in really plain, boring scenes.
Or it could all be in crayon.
Or it could all no, it can all be shot. They could have run out. Hideaki Anno could have gone insane, run out of film stock, and shot the rest of the movie on a VHS camcorder.
I am completely with you. Thank you, Andres. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your commitment, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care, everybody, and I will see you all next time. And since my, last video, I also made a review for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. It was my second solo unscripted video that I've ever done, so check that out.
Do it, kids. Go watch it. Kiss goodbye to Andres Perez. See you later, man.
All right. See ya. Take care, everybody.
Okay, now let's talk shit about him. Now that he's gone. What kind of man makes plans during SOS?
Jesus Christ, this guy.
What a piece of shit.
We got to find another American Mexican in Japan.
We really do. It's becoming becoming a problem.
Which is a really weird shoe to fill.
It's a very specific role, but it needs to be filled perfectly. It also has to be somebody who's willing to do all of the work before the podcast because I'm not doing it.
Basically, we're just gonna have to find another Mexican, train him to speak white, and then send him.
We need to whitewash. We basically need to kidnap a child.
We'll get Scarlett
and
Johansson.
Raise them to be the next Andres Perez.
We'll get Scarlett Johansson to play Andres Perez.
Oh yes, and oh god, all of Andres' fans will be outraged. Oh, it's gonna be great.
It'll be amazing.
I'm so excited.
He's gonna love this section of the podcast.
Oh, it's gonna be. Oh, he's gonna die. It's gonna be his favorite part. He's gonna cut this out and post it on his channel. He's gonna love it so much. Because that's how you express love for things. But Dylan, we talked about this together already. So, is there anything that you've come up with over the past couple days that you wanted to say on this that you didn't say during DFOS?
Well, nah, but here's the thing. They've since released another, like, there's been another photo going around on the internet. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No.
This other image that they're using to promote the film. Hold on. Gorazard shared it to Toho Nation. Maybe I can find the link to that post.
When did this happen? Because I've been like...
Did I just call it Toho Nation?
Dead. He did it. Andres did it during the podcast too, so it's cool.
Fuck. Okay. I think this link should take you directly to content not found. Fuck you, Facebook.
What's the gist of it?
You're gonna have to look at the picture. Is the problem.
I mean, what is it? Godzilla butt fucking a whale? Jesus, is it so?
Yes.
So abstract.
It's Godzilla raping Barbara Gordon.
Again. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god.
Okay. So
we're gonna get so much for that. Oh, I did see this. That is absolutely fucking terrifying. My god.
Now, here's the thing that I take away from this image.
Godzilla can actually use his hands, number one.
Yeah, he can actually use his arms to do things, and that makes me a little bit more okay with them. I still find them aesthetically retarded, but at least they're useful.
Well,
I gotta say,
he's grasping a building at the very least.
One thing I gotta say, though, a lot of people have been pointing this out with regards to this image. I know I said that the head has been growing on me, but Jesus Christ, those eyes are still derpy as fuck.
Yeah. And I wanted to say this while Andres was still here because I wanted to get his take on it. But I think that and I talked about this during DFOS, special effects-wise, this Godzilla is amazing. It is, in my opinion, the best-looking Godzilla we have ever seen in live action. That's my opinion. But that's not talking about the design. Because, again,
that's just talking about the level of the effects.
That's the level of the effects, and that's just my own opinion. I don't think everybody's going to agree with me on that. And I'm just talking about the way Godzilla himself looks. I'm not talking about the special effects of the movie.
Imagine if Heisei Godzilla could be done with this level of effects.
Oh, I would die. I would die.
It would be the greatest. It would be the greatest thing that has ever existed.
Yeah, I mean, he looks really amazing. But that design is very, very odd, and it still looks very, very odd. Every time I watch it, I'm like, that's Godzilla, and I'm like, okay, why though? Like that's what I think every time, and that's just what I'm going to keep thinking until I see the movie. This is one of those movies that I almost wish I could know nothing about before I go in.
Yeah. And
that's impossible for a Godzilla movie for me because I have to talk about it. But yeah, it's such an odd idea and such an alien thing to do with Godzilla that it's just we have to see it done before we could be okay with it. But Dylan, I'll say this, and then I think we'll kind of wrap up on that. Well, there's actually one more thing we could talk about with it, but this is the last thing I'll say about the trailer itself. And this is based on something Andre said. Do you think that this movie is likely to have second act blues because it looks like the story is broken up into Godzilla initially reappears and then he attacks again? Because that's what this trailer seems to indicate.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the scenes that we've seen of people standing around and talking are probably going to be the second act. This is something that has happened in Godzilla movies in the past.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good example.
When the fuck did you get a dog?
Oh, we inherited it last year when my fucking great aunt died.
Oh man, that's really funny.
I hate it so much. I just want to.
I cannot believe I never ever fucking knew that.
I want to strangle it to death. Really.
I want to do it right now because it's fucking ruining our podcast. I'm ruining it. But it's distracting.
I hate this dog so much. I can't put it into words. It's not that I want to kill her. I just don't want her to be alive anymore.
I feel that. You don't want to be responsible, but you want it to happen.
I mean, I'm going to have to make it look like an accident, is what it all boils down.
Sure. I mean, that's natural, though. That's totally understandable.
And she's the only animal in the house now because the cat died, and that's just, ugh.
Oh man, that's really unfortunate.
Ugh.
God, it won't shut up either.
I know. I want her to get cancer, or
All right.
or more specifically to my problem, laryngitis.
Yeah, just get the vocal cords ripped out. No, that's even worse because then they have a weird sound that they make that's very haunting.
I'm just gonna feed it some chocolate.
We hear Dylan just is like, "I'll be RB."
Hold on.
Hold on one sec. If you killed the dog live on the podcast, I wouldn't know what to do because simultaneously I'd be horrified, but also I'd be like, "We're gonna get so many views."
I would be. You would be horrified, but also relieved.
I mean, yeah, but I would also be relieved because we could keep going and we wouldn't be impeded by
She
the
seems
barking.
to have shut the fuck up now.
Yeah, she seems like she shut the fuck
I
up. So let's
swear
talk
to
about
God,
Godzilla.
if she woke up the baby, I'm gonna like rip out her intestines with a fork. Ugh. Anyway,
That's not something you need. All right. So yeah, I think we're both in agreement that this might have second act blues just because Godzilla's the only monster in it, and Toho has confirmed that now. Seemingly, I don't still buy that. I'm not sold on that until I see it.
mm-hmm.
But it seems to be that Godzilla's the only thing in the only monster in the film, and I'm very okay with that.
I'm like 99,
in fact, I prefer that
I'm like
over another
99%
monster
sure
movie.
because I've heard that Hideki Anno wanted to do a solo Godzilla movie, and he wrote the script. So I'm pretty.
Yeah, I think that just based on what this thing looks like and the story that this seems to be trying to tell, I think Godzilla's going to be solo in this. And thank fucking God. I mean, when was the last time we got a story that was just about him?
84.
It's been a while.
It's been Jesus, 30,
Final Wars is not about Godzilla.
32
That is an alien invasion that happens to have Godzilla in it as a big gun. Like,
Oh,
are
you asking when's the last time we had a solo movie or one that?
No. I'm asking. I was kind of kidding because like it feels like we haven't had a story that was about Godzilla in a long time. Because 2014 is also not really about Godzilla. So you know what I mean? Like a story that's he's
And
the
you know what? Against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS feel like they're a lot more about Mechagodzilla.
They do. That's
So
what I was just about to say.
I think GMK actually is the last time.
GMK is probably the last time we got a movie that was really about Godzilla, and you know what? He's an undead force of nature in that. So you know what? Fuck it.
That's only been 15 years, so.
It's a good movie though.
It is a good movie. I'm gonna watch it right now and masturbate.
Me too.
We'll do it.
Let's do it together.
We'll do it together. Live on the Sons of Serizawa podcast.
What I love is that you said it kind of with like the level of energy that I usually say the Sons of Serizawa podcast. So it was like 10 times creepier because you said it that way.
It'll be over before we get through the opening credits, but
oh yeah, I can't laugh.
But it'll be.
Do you have any idea how hot Major Tachibana is? Fuck. So anyway, Godzilla Resurgence.
Oh man, that old man ghost. Ooh, no.
Oh god. Don't even get me going. So what? What I was gonna say was the other big piece of news that I'm shocked that Andres didn't even mention was that we now have news on what's going to be going on with the American release of this, and it hasn't exactly been the best.
Maybe Andres hasn't heard about this because he's in Japan now, and
Oh, that's possible. Maybe he just doesn't care.
I mean, he's gonna have to watch the movie without subtitles though, so fuck him.
Yeah, I guess he would be right. Yeah, fuck him. That's right.
You better learn that Japanese, boy.
You better. So yeah, this is getting a U.S. release only on DVD and Blu-ray. It's being put out by New World, I think, which they put out Godzilla 84, didn't they? New World Cinemas? Or is this a different company with a similar name and I'm just having a fucking episode right now?
I'm not sure who put out 84, actually.
I think but it was Roger Corman, but I think he owns New World.
Maybe.
Hang on, I'm going to look up.
I know the recent...
You look up who put out Godzilla 1985. I'll look up who's putting out Resurgence because that's the easier thing and I want that.
I know the recent Biollante Blu-rays were Echo Bridge, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Biollante was owned by HBO. The U.S. distribution rights were at HBO though, and those expired. So that's why that happened. U.S. release, man. Come on, bro.
It was distributed by New World Pictures.
All right, this is called New World Cinemas, I think. So I'm gonna assume that that's the deal, that it's the same thing.
All right.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm still not finding. I still can't. What the? Why can't I fucking find out who's fucking releasing this movie? Godzilla Resurgence. Let's just look. Let's just try and find New World. New World. Let's try that. All right, this is on Sci-Fi. This is on Sci-Fi.com, who suck, but
Yeah.
they're
pretty bad.
They're rather shit, but they might at least give me the name. Come on. Yeah, New World Cinemas. All right, I had it anyway, so fuck
So I'm
Sci-Fi.com.
going to assume that those are either the same company or associated companies or.
I'm assuming that they're similar. It would be too coincidental if fucking two solo Godzilla movies got put out by companies with the exact same name minus one letter, one word. But Dylan, what do you think about that? No theatrical release is the big thing.
I don't care. I just want to watch the movie.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, obviously, see, I don't know. I would like to try and somehow make it out to Japan in the next year to potentially see this in theaters. But if not, I'll live.
I'm not surprised. I mean, people are acting like, I can't believe they're not doing it. And I'm like, oh.
I'm surprised because...
can't believe that we didn't get a Japanese Godzilla movie distributed in America, even though there hasn't been one in the past 16 fucking years.
No, fair enough. But Godzilla's very popular in America right now, potentially more so than in Japan. So
yeah,
that's what's weird about it.
But it's a specific version of Godzilla.
No, I get that. But this trailer made pretty big waves in the U.S. though. Like a lot of the major news sites did articles on it, and a lot of people are talking about it who maybe don't know what exactly they're looking at.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, I mean, and listen, that's fair. Like, it's a very weird thing to like show to somebody who does not know Godzilla. Because it's like
I really want to know what James Rolfe's reaction to it is, because he's all into Godzilla and horror, and this is kind of a meeting of worlds for him.
I don't know. He's probably pretty into it. You know what? He's probably just into it because it's a practical effects Godzilla.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's all about that shit.
He probably thinks he could use more Troya, but
probably.
That man.
My Godzilla reviews are better. Nah. They were way longer and a lot more rambly.
Which is better?
No, it's not. It's really not. So, I don't know. It doesn't bug you. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it. Because on the one hand, we're both gonna fucking pirate this anyway.
You know what? It's probably gonna hit that website that I used to watch Super Sentai, because a lot of Godzilla movies are on there, and when it does, I'll fucking watch it. I mean,
again, it's really it'd be pointless to get mad about this. We're gonna see it anyway. We'll fucking see it. It's all just a matter of,
even if it wasn't getting an official American release, the same people who I got my bootlegs of '84 and Gamera the Brave from would come through for me there. I mean,
there is a certain website that I will not name that will probably be all over this movie in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So just wait for that, and you should be all set.
And they do good work, good quality work.
They do good work indeed. So I don't know when this DVD gets put out, I will definitely buy it.
Oh yeah.
Or the Blu-ray rather, but just for the sake of quality and for the sake of official subtitles. Not that those are always necessarily fucking good.
I'll buy 2 copies, one to watch and one to do things with sexually.
Of course. Dylan, do you exclusively jerk off to Godzilla now? Because that seems to be what the past few conversations we've had have indicated.
I tend to jerk off to whatever we're talking about in a podcast. It seems to be the joke, isn't it? It's just recently that's been Godzilla.
That makes sense. So Star Wars and Godzilla, it's like a back-to-back. They're in a playlist for you, aren't they?
Oh god. Oh god.
It's on yeah. That and the Killing Joke.
I'll watch that Han death scene one more time.
There is penetration in it.
Oh, tons.
I mean, not tons. It's one. It's Don't get carried away, you fucking lunatic.
But it's a big one.
It's, I mean, it's not small. It's a big thing, but it's also inside.
Kind of unstable.
It's a bit unstable. All right. So I don't know. It sucks. It's not gonna. I would have liked to have seen this in theaters. Is what I'm saying, and the fact that I'm not is a bit sad. But you know, it is what it is. I haven't seen a Japanese Godzilla movie in theater since 2000, so you know I'll live. So I think in the end, everything will turn out fine. People should stop freaking out. It's okay. You'll see it eventually. And guess what? If you want to really see it in a theater, fucking buy a theater and show it there. It's that simple.
Right.
It's easy. It's that simple, kids.
Now, if you're one of these people who are like, I'm not going to watch it because I don't like the design, fuck you. I'm sorry.
That's your problem then.
I'm not crazy about it either. But come on, man.
I mean, at least find out why he looks like that, right? I mean, I would think that anybody who's upset enough about it would think I at least have to know why. You know?
Yeah, I mean.
And I also wish we would have had time to ask Andres what he thought the reason was, because we talked about that on DFOS. Fuck. I hate that kid.
He's like, I'm gonna go. I have to meet my friends. And I was like, nobody.
I have social plans.
And I was like,
what,
Andres,
dude?
nobody ever has to meet their friends, okay?
No, it's not a requirement. It's a choice.
Last time I checked, we were your friends, Andres.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mister.
I thought that.
Every sentence out of his mouth now was like, did I mention that I live in Japan? And the other night I was going karaoke.
He's always mentioning his friends. It's sickening.
Pretty soon he's going to be one of those like weeaboos who pronounces the words the way they're supposed to be pronounced in Japanese. He's not going to say went and did karaoke. He's going to say I went and did karaoke.
Yeah, he's going to start putting emphasis in all the weirdest. I used to like that kid, you know. I used to respect that kid. Anyway,
human garbage.
Truly. Yeah, he's alright. Anyway,
he's gonna love.
So he has his moments, doesn't he? You see that Batman v Superman review we put out? Pretty good.
I don't watch videos.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Dylan, is there anything else that you wanted to discuss about Godzilla Resurgence?
Nah, man.
Nah, because we did it on DFOS and there were supposed to be more people. I wish that we had the full crew this week. I'm really sorry, everyone. Just the way this turned out. This was buttfuck. Dylan didn't think he was going to be able to make it. I, at one point, was considering canceling because I was really sick earlier and very tired. So this was a bit of a shit show.
I wound up being able to make it, but then Andres was like, I only have an hour and a half. And I was like, Andres, we can barely get through one news story in an hour and a half. Jesus Christ. But
yeah, so that's why it was so rushed tonight. But it's okay. Trust me. We'll talk about this next time. We'll probably tell you what. We'll open the next podcast with anything else we wanted to say about Godzilla Resurgence that we didn't say here. For Andres and David's sake. So we'll do that. And I'm also gonna still do a solo video on it. So
his arms are stupid.
If I have any. So if I have anything,
little dick.
I'll add it there. I'll add it there. I'm gonna die, Dylan. You're gonna kill me one day. It's gonna happen, and not for the reasons you think. Anyway,
if so, then everything is going according to plan.
All right. So with the serial killer shit aside, I actually think that's actually going to do it for this week's episode of the Demons. See what happens when there's not the full crew here?
Yeah, you're just looking at my logo and you're thinking, oh, it's DFOS, and you're like, wait a minute.
It's weird though. I haven't recorded DFOS in this room in like a month and a half, but I still thought that. That's so weird.
It's funny because you're confused, and your profile picture is confused Han Solo, or at least.
Oh my god.
Well, not really confused Han Solo. More like, oh, what the fuck, Han Solo.
More like, fuck you, Han Solo.
But like he just, in the context of this conversation, it looks like a confused Han Solo.
He's just like, what's going on? And I don't really know what's going on this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. So, until next time, everyone, I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
I'm Super DM64, and he was Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
And he would have been David if he wouldn't have been,
Dave.
a fucking dickhead.
He wouldn't have been David.
If he wouldn't have been David.
He was too busy Daviding all over the place,
It was just everywhere. It was all over the floor.
David is a verb now.
It is. Everything is a verb now. Going Dylaning.
Oh God, I'd hate to know what that verb describes.
I don't even want to know either. Something to do with jerking off in Godzilla, surely.
Yeah.
So, as always, kids, the science is sound, and we'll see you next time.